Yo, peep the sweater. Peep the sweater. Somebody came in me. Apart from that, are you having a happy holidays? I know I am. But yeah, no, it's that time of year where I get to talk about cool holiday stuff, and this time it's something that gets me going! But yeah, if you haven't guessed by like the subtle lighting or just the overall energy, yeah, I'm talking about the green sex machine. The true terror and savior of Whoville. The actual inspiration for Wicked and Saint... I'm actually gonna just put the title here because I don't want a slip of the tongue. I know what I am. Get it? Because he doesn't have pants. But yeah, the Grinch. I'm talking about the Grinch. He's like the second biggest Dr. Seuss character and, dare I say, mascot of Christmas. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And if you're like, well, no, I mean, Santa's number one, obviously, but what about, like, Rudolph or Frosty? Shut up, I bleed green. Yeah, but whether it's the 1960s Christmas special or Jim Carrey's iconic version, or the 2018 one with... Wait a minute, Tyler, the Creator? Pharrell, what are you doing here? Point is, he is a pillar of the Christmas lineup every year. But yeah, basic gist, Christmas rolls around and all the Whos celebrate like Whos do. They like Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lives in prime real estate that Bruce Wayne would be so jealous of, does not. So what is a green bachelor to do with no HOA and major noise pollution imminent? Why, just cosplay as the jolly fat man and perform mass B&E that ICE only dreams of. With the slight early hiccup of a child witness that thankfully he does not have to kill, he performs quite possibly the greatest robbery ever, but only to find out on Christmas morning as he goes to dump all their stuff, he realizes with their singing, they don't care about the material possessions. They care about the community and joy that Christmas brings. Reflecting on his mistakes, he hits a new Max Clean Press record and returns all the toys and becomes the guest of honor at their feast, as if he didn't commit multiple crimes. But honestly, I don't think the Who's put two and two together that he stole the stuff too. As far as I know, they don't even know he exists in this version. For all we know, he could have just existed long before the Who's and will be there long, long after. Other adaptations flesh out his character more. In Jim Carrey's live-action version, he's actually a what brought about by a mean wind one night and then raised by swinging old ladies. Ron Howard, you freak! And he lives among them for a while until schoolyard bullying and one girl's fetishization just makes him snap, making him so mad that he disavows Christmas altogether and climbs a mountain, along with, I guess, just giving up clothes. I mean, hey, if I lived alone on a mountain and it was warm, probably would too. And so now his motivations are a little more personal, wanting to get back at the mayor, his childhood bully, and prove to the Who's that they are in fact materialistic, which they are in this one. Most of the Grinch's possessions and inventions, including his dog, are actually stuff he just picked up on the mountain, which also serves as Whoville's dump. But like the other version, with a little bit of convincing, he returns all the gifts, steals Jeffrey Trambor's girl to make her a good wife, and then finally just gets the community that he yearned for this whole time. And in 2018, he's just kind of a loner with abandonment issues. Like, he's not even that bad of a guy in this one. Just, again, the noise pollution thing. It's not a bad movie, I just have more pressing matters to attend to. Mainly, I want to talk about the green fuzzball himself. Who is he really? What makes him tick? Why is he here? How come he pulls off lederhosen so well? If it isn't glaringly apparent, I like to overanalyze movies. How the Grinch Stole Christmas being one of the first instances, because mainly, how are they celebrating Christmas? Like actual Christmas. Not like a winter solstice or like a winter festival, not a Whomas or a Hanukkah, because that does sound better. No, like straight up Christmas. Like with a Christ. Was there a Who Jesus? Was there a Who Pope? Is there a Who Pope? What about the Crusades? Are there other Abrahamic religions that we just don't know about? Capitalism is apparently front and center in Whoville, but there's a lot of joy and togetherness coming around. The only bad thing in their lives really is the Grinch. And so the Grinch is really just like an anti-Who. A center in negativity. Dare I say evil. And hey, if these Whos do worship a god, then let him be the devil. Am I saying the Grinch is, like, fully demonic? If not, like, a straight-up Satan character, he's definitely some sort of, like, arch-fae, trickster god, or just an avatar of meanness and greasy black peels. He's definitely not an average what. For starters, he's incredibly strong. He's able to fully, like, hold onto and keep a sleigh from falling off a mountain that's full of toys, and that's before he gets the Christmas spirit ran through him, and then he could fully clean it over his head. Through sheer positivity, he got, like, a 13 times multiplier. And is that permanent? I don't know. But let's look at the other feats. I mean, he has breath so bad it can knock someone out and also make a makeshift flamethrower. He can rotate his head 360 degrees. He can just tank fiery metalwork as a light snack. He eats glass. Dude is an absolute unit with unknowable strength and durability, like demonic levels. On top of the fact he's clearly not a who. Maybe it's some sort of subspecies or a mutation, but the world of Dr. Seuss doesn't really seem that scientific, at least right here, because Santa is real. Like they have a Santa Claus. But the Grinch can account for being crafty in both senses of the word, being able to pull out steampunk nightmare inventions no problem, and also he doesn't have an issue lying to a child. Almost as if it's his nature, but with nature comes nurture, and by all accounts to the How the Grinch Stole Christmas canon, say that 3 times fast, yeah, he didn't really have a good life, his only friend being his dog Max. Cerberus? Question mark? I'm mostly kidding. But apart from the upbringing, where did he really come from? In the original Christmas special and the book, there's not really an origin. In the 2018 version, he's just abandoned at an orphanage. Might want to get Hushel Services on that one. But back to the Carrie movie, our green fiend gets introduced when a strange winter wind just brings him along, knocking another Who baby off course, and then he crash lands in front of what is probably considered the most sinful house in town. If that doesn't scream biblical old folklore, I don't know what does. And from his first little giggle of possibly dooming a child to their frozen death, he had a knack for the mean and inventive until, like all creatures that are male, they discover that girls exist and then suddenly they have a moral compass. But hey, nothing like the wrath of a heartbroken what, as he allegedly just terrorizes the town for years on end, so much so that the mere mention of his name causes a town-wide panic. Real quick before we move on, how is it they got 2 characters that look like Trump here? I mean, seriously, look at them. It low-key ruins the movie for me. But we've exhausted that resource of a movie. Let's look beyond the cinematic veil to find more evidence. So I'm going to be using 3 sources. Mainly because there's only about 3 other sources. The first being a short-lived children's program called The Wubbaless World of Dr. Seuss, in which the Grinch is more like a recurring villain. You want to know more about the show? Well, too bad, watch it yourself. I'm not going through all that. The Grinch sometimes ruins someone's day or steals things. That sounds pretty evil to me. To be honest, I'm kind of just putting this here so no one calls me out for not using it as a source. It's the Grinch. He causes mayhem and misfortune. That supports my hypothesis. Moving on. The second and more reliable source is a crossover special between our green Scrooge and the face of the Dr. Seuss brand. Bill Hader. Cat in the Hat. In the aptly named The Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat. That's right, it's a verb now. And in this, we learn a little bit more about what the Grinch really is, starting with the fact that his own reflection can talk to him, Willem Dafoe style, and he has a Grinch's oath. A Grinch is unhelpful, unfriendly, unkind, with ungracious thoughts in an unhealthy mind. A Grinch is uncheerful, uncouth, and unclean. Now say this together. I'm frighteningly mean. My eyes are both shifty. My fingers are grifty. My mouth shall never smile, not even half an inch. I'm a Grinch. I'm a Grinch! So, a couple takeaways. Either he's just very committed to the bit, or he's not the only Grinch out there. Terrifying, either way. But it does seem that he has a mission on Earth to be the most unpleasant person around and ruin the day of anyone who crosses his path. Demonic, not necessarily, but definitely devilish. But it does kind of remind me of the fae and fairy of old that would like kill your chickens or own your soul if you say their name wrong or offend them slightly. Definitely the case here because the Cat in the Hat just blocks the Grinch's way on the road temporarily, offers to move his car, but that's not enough. Dude goes off, just chasing him in his car all the way back to the Cat in the Hat's house. But wait, he's already inside with this newfangled machine. What does this machine do? Steal his voice! And with this machine, he assigns new sounds to a bunch of other things. Better yet, silencing whatever he doesn't like. Oh, that's not all. He has this other machine that just removes light. Like in a beam of pure darkness. I don't even think that's physically possible. Dude becomes the Shade from DC. That's right, we referenced the Shade from DC Comics on this channel. For the sake of pure pettiness, the Grinch ruins the cat's life and everyone around him in a psychedelic nightmare. all for the sake of the game. The only way to stop his evil, and yes, the cat refers to it as evil, is to introduce psychological warfare, reminding him of his dead mother's love. Well, I guess he did have to come from somewhere. From there on, he has a good cry and is now jolly and silences his dark reflection. Like, literally, he uses the sound machine. So, the Grinch is either in desperate need of therapy, hey, aren't we all, or he was sent from hell to wreak havoc. I think it's just the fact it was something so mildly inconvenient that set him off like that, and he got put in motion that fast. Like, imagine what he was capable of if he had actual planning. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the fact it was something that small that set him off, and it was a song about his dead mother to beat him, pretty fairy tale-esque if you ask me. But hey, it's still a fun romp. I mean, it's not like there's a story surrounding the Grinch that treats him as like this frightening folklore force of evil nature. Oh, wait! That's right, the 1977 special Halloween Night is Grinch Night basically supercharged him as a magical beast of yore, feasting on fear like Pennywise on a diet. And here we actually return back to Whoville and Mount Crumpet, so this might be canon to the Christmas special, where again, a bad, sour-sweet wind kicks off a series of prophesized events that leads the Grinch to come out of his cave with his magic eyebrows, to come on down from on high and wreak havoc upon Whoville in his paraphernalia wagon. No joke, that's what he calls it. And here we actually have him being like an evil guy. There's no backstory or secret love, no vendetta against Whoville, it's just his nature. He's also way more of a dick in this one, treating Max more like a slave than a pet. He also destroys everything in his path and kinda hunts down endangered animals. What a dick. Also, he's straight up magic. His whip cracks like lightning, and he can change his own size. The best the Whos can really do to defend themselves is simply watch his descent. But one brave Who kid decides to take him on, even though really he just kinda stumbled up the mountain because the wind carried him. A really funny thing happened on the way to the euphemism. But seeing that the town is in trouble, he has a very cunning plan to stall for time as he endures cosmic horrors. You thought the drunk elephant scene in Dumbo was bad? Get a load of this. The Grinch throws every scare and spook he has at this kid until the wind suddenly dies down. And because the wind dies down, it reverses this domino effect of all the stuff that stops the Grinch from prowling on the town. Defeated, he decides to carry his wagon back up the mountain, but vowing to return when the wind does. My spine feels cold. I feel cold. So yeah, in this one, the Grinch is scary, magic, menacing, and malicious. And also, like, bound to the nature of this world. He also can be outsmarted and has an ego that can be exploited. Similar to when the King of the Damned went down south for a fiddling contest. So what do we know now? About the same amount as we did in the beginning, but let's run some things down. The Grinch is strong, smart, and magical with an almost predispositioned knack for meanness and unniceness. In some cases, he can break away and turn good, other times it's simply his nature, but he's bound to some sort of set of rules, self-inflicted or otherwise. Sounds pretty devilish to me. I mean, apart from, like, the ruling over hell and punishing the wicked, there's pretty much nothing there. But he's definitely some sort of avatar for negativity. I mean, the Cat in the Hat is chaotic, but he's not malicious. The Lorax is this paragon of saving the planet. Horton, equality for all. The Grinch, hate. All I'm saying is a Stephen King-style mythology centered around Dr. Seuss characters. Sign me up. Especially after that Mean One horror movie came out. And the Onceler does wear green. Could be a connection. But in all seriousness, am I trying to craft some sort of big conspiracy here? No, it's children's books. I just think it's funny how, like, when you adapt things, there are some sort of unexpected connections in between things. Like, for example, I think the Ghostbusters are superheroes. You should totally check that video out. Context matters. Analyzing things matters. It's not always necessary, but it's a good exercise in finding out what you agree with. I know I think the Grinch is some sort of eldritch being beyond time and space, like how you probably think I wasted your time not talking about the Mean One horror movie. No, I'm not really done with this rabbit hole, I think. I kinda just landed on the devil since it's the easy go-to evil being, but I'm sure there are other characters that the Grinch resembles more. Sure, Dr. Seuss was Lutheran, but, you know. See, look, I'm not done with this, and you shouldn't either. That's my gift to you this holiday season. Find a thing to nerd out about and just hyperfixate on. Talk about it with your friends and family. Find community in a weird theory that you have. Like, why do they even live in a snowflake? Like, when it melts, do they all die? What's the timeline like? Because they moved up to modern times, but in real time it was only probably a few minutes. Like, they only last like a day, so I don't really know how that works. Also, hey, happy holidays to everybody, and in the season of giving, I would like to simply just ask a little favor of you. See, I am a filmmaker. I don't really think these count as films here, but I do other stuff. Right now, I'm producing a film myself. It's called The Gauntlet. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan film. It's basically an episode of the show with a cool duel and CGI dragons and stuff. And yeah, fully self-funded, fully independent. And by fully independent, I mean we need cash. It's a very fun passion project that I'm doing with some friends, and I would really appreciate if any help can come of this. I just really want to have a good time. Our GoFundMe is in the description, and it would really mean a lot to us if you could help us out. I'm talking about that aspect too much. Point is, if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or just in the giving mood this season, it would be really appreciated. Either way, thank you for watching and staying this long for my nonsense. And happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, and a happy new year as well.